In the UK, sustainability is a fundamental principle shaping every aspect of product innovation and asset management. Companies are harnessing cutting-edge machinery and pioneering finance solutions to propel us towards a greener future. This commitment goes beyond compliance. It sets new benchmarks for global sustainability practices and underscores a collective responsibility towards environmental conservation. In today's programme, Executive TV will explore the challenges the UK faces, some of the viable solutions, and what a greener future looks like. CM Services serves various industries with audits, strategy development, regulatory support, and staff training to improve machinery health, cut costs, and boost reliability.
So one of our main values at CM Services is to be partnered with the company. We're not just a service provider. Our customers become our partners. We work together with our customers. It's not just, I can provide you a service, here's your answer, here's your report, thank you very much, and that's it. We partner with our customers. So we're as much involved in their maintenance planning and the way the ship or the plant or whatever the site is. So we partner with them and we make sure that that is running as efficiently as possible. That's part of our value to the customer. It's not just a service provider. We value the customer and we want the customer to see that value in what we offer them, not just a service company. A lot of service companies will do that. They'll say, oh, we can provide you with a service, we'll give you a report every month and that's it. We partnership. The biggest value we have and the biggest value within our software is that we connect with our customers at that level. Now, our team becomes part of their team. They rely on us as much as we rely on them for information, and that information is relayed back through our team. So it's a partnership, and I think that's one of the biggest values we have.
Mace Group is a global expert in shaping the built environment and offers development, consultancy, and construction services.
Mace Group is a global project and program delivery consultants and construction experts. There's a real focus on how do we redefine the boundaries of ambition. We've got three key priorities. How do we pursue a sustainable world? How do we grow together, so our people and our clients? And how do we deliver distinctive value in the industry? We've got over 7,000 people working globally to deliver what we'd like to think are some of the most sustainable projects, programs and infrastructure projects around the world. Sustainability is incredibly important to everything we do. We have a large sustainability team, but actually it's embedded in everything we do. So all of our people come to work knowing they can have an impact to deliver a more sustainable outcome through their projects and programs.
Lombard, part of NatWest Group, is the UK's largest asset finance provider and offer tailored finance solutions for vehicles, equipment and technology.
So Lombard specifically are an asset financier and we fund capital expenditure for businesses, whether that be vehicles, plant and machinery, renewable assets. Our products can help customers achieve their sustainability goals by allowing that business to make that investment. The business may not have the cash resources day to day or the cash flow to fund that project, whereas we can step in and help them on that journey by funding their requirements.
Our sustainability steps are based on our customers. The sustainability that they achieve through us providing services to them, using our software, using MIB and everything else. That is the sustainability that affects us, because we are trying to help them achieve their goals. And as a business partner, this partnership that we have with our customers, that is the sustainability level that we try to get. So to increase that for our customers increases our sustainability within the company. We work in different industries, and they all have different standards. So, for us, it's more important that we are helping our customers achieve their maintenance, their reliability, their operational standards and in their system. That's how we look at our steps of what we do. We're a small part of that to help them with their sustainability.
Circularity is growing significantly on our projects within London. What we're seeing as the drivers behind that is the desire to drive down the embodied carbon in the projects that we're actually building. And what we're seeing is great opportunity within the actual existing assets. So no longer are we looking at existing projects as things we have to demolish and actually take away to things like landfill. We're increasingly looking at them as actually assets that we can repurpose and look at the physical products, be that stone or steel, how we can adapt them and alter them, potentially by taking them off site and reconfigure them and then fetching them back to that same project and actually putting them back into the building, which obviously has a huge carbon saving. It means we're no longer relying upon the raw products and the mining of new materials out of the ground, which not only creates carbon, but also can be damaging to the sort of natural world that it comes from.
I think sustainability is something that all companies should absolutely be considering. I think lots of investments are no-brainers from that side of things, given the efficiency, the capacity that it would bring to a business from that investment, but also cost savings on energy and reduced CO2s is a massive factor. Our products can help customers achieve their sustainability goals by allowing that business to make that investment. The business may not have the cash resources day to day or the cash flow to fund that project, whereas we can step in and help them on that journey by funding their requirements. So Lombard can support customers in many ways. We can support with investment in electric hybrid vehicles from a transport perspective. We can support with funding for plant and machinery. We have renewables offerings where we can fund renewable assets from solar panels to LED lighting through to battery storage and wind turbines. So essentially, any capital expenditure within a business away from land and buildings can be funded via Lombard.
A lot of the industry that I deal with is the marine industry. Our main customers are marine industry customers, and they use condition monitoring, but they use very basic condition monitoring. You know, they take data on this. Look, they have a service company that looks at the data, and that's where it is. And this is, like I said, our niche is looking at the whole picture. So for years, everybody's used condition monitoring. Everybody has vibration analysis reports, everybody has thermographic reports, everybody has oil analysis, but it's not joined up. It's not looking at it holistically. And that's prevalent in most industries because, you know, you'll have the maintenance manager or maintenance staff that will be okay and looking at the vibration stuff and also change a bearing or the machine is okay or change a pump or something. And they'll do those actions according to the service provider, whoever that might be, and they're happy with it. You know, and they'll change 10 bearings a year or whatever, and they'll go around and they'll say, we've saved the company £5,000 every time we change a bearing because we've changed the bearing, it didn't fail or whatever. The difference with us is we look at it the other way around. If you're changing 5 bearings, what's causing those bearings to fail? You know, if it's a lack of lubrication, you need to look at your lubrication program and change it because your lubrication program is not working. The industry has accepted, most industries accept condition monitoring, but they accept the condition monitoring on what it used to be 20 years ago. There's a little black box that takes readings and gives them an answer and it says there's a bearing problem, there's a fan belt problem, there's a whatever problem. And they correct it and they move on. We take that data, look at it and say, why is it doing that? You know, why are you having bearing failures? Or why are you having alignment issues? Or why are you having filter issues or whatever? Take that data together with all the other data and solve the underlying problem. And once you solve that, your reliability, your reliability will go up and you'll do less maintenance, and the maintenance you are doing is on the machinery that actually requires the maintenance.
The reuse and repurposing of materials, specifically within the construction industry, is imperative. This leads to less waste and highlights sustainable urban development.
The potential material reuse within London is significant. At the present moment, we've done some work as an organisation. We calculated somewhere in the region of 14 million tonnes of materials could be retained within the construction environment by repurposing the materials that already exist. So there's a huge opportunity to do that. And we're already starting to see some great examples where we've actually brought that to life. We have a project fairly recent where we've taken the stone off the building, cleaned it and repurposed it. 90% of the stone that came off that building is actually being put back onto that very same building. We've seen a real step change in many of our clients over what has been a relatively recent period, probably the last 5 years or so. What's been driving that, I suppose, is often it's their own drivers. They want to do the right thing in terms of how they respond to the environmental crisis that we're all facing into. But they also have other drivers that are increasingly being put forward for them. And by that I mean that we're seeing things like green finance now. Green finance setting targets where they're actually asking the clients to produce a more environmentally friendly building. We're seeing tenants, the occupiers of buildings, become increasingly aware of the buildings they actually occupy, and they're looking for not only the operational side of those to be much greener, but equally the actual building itself to be an environmentally friendly building that they know has been created in the best possible way to have minimal impact on the environment.
The construction industry can benefit quite a lot from circularity. Over the past few years, we've seen a lot of inflationary pressures on materials. Cost of steel, cost of concrete, cost of other equipment went up quite a lot over these past few years. And actually what circularity does is start to say, if we can be more efficient with what we use, do you really need that much material? Have we over-engineered and over-designed something? If we can use less material, that brings down the costs. So suddenly we can deliver the same buildings for either the same price when inflation is providing challenges, or actually at reduced costs in the future. So there's definitely a cost benefit by doing this and considering circularity in what we do as well. It's also incredibly important to our clients. It's happening now and it will definitely be more prevalent in the future. But if you can't deliver a low or zero embodied carbon building or a highly sustainable building, then our clients won't be wanting to work with us. It's so important to them, and they need partners and suppliers that can deliver against their ambitions and targets. So it's almost making sure that we are fit for the future. Our business can deliver what our clients want today and in the future, and we're well positioned to be the ones that can deliver these highly sustainable buildings.
Clients are all on a sustainability journey, and some are further behind than others. And the key really is us be able to give advice and guidance and support where required. The key issues can be investments. Customers decide not to invest in something due to the cost, where we can step in at that point and help support with a funding solution that allows them to get that project or that investment over the line.
Everything that we use and people use within the packaging sector is all valuable resource. With little tweaks here and there, those things can all be made recyclable. So that uses less energy, there's less waste, less litter, everything benefits from doing that. And the most important thing is it's eminently doable. Packaging can be made more sustainable by making out of one material, so a mono material. So even if that's a plastic bottle that water's in, if it's all made out of PET, including the cap, that can be recycled. If you're making a pouch or a sachet to put coffee or dried goods in, if it's all made out of the same product, be it PE or PP, it can be recycled. If it's made out of different products or got foil in it, it can't be recycled. So the aim has to be to make everything out of so each pack is made out of the same material. It can then be recycled.
Some of the hurdles to become sustainable are things like the government support for small business. The biggest hurdle is getting that reliability, getting that your plant, your assets, moving from a fighting fires maintenance strategy or planned strategy. Every 3 years we have a shutdown and we overhaul 30% of the plant. But that 30% of the plant may not need overhauling. So it's getting that mindset change to say, actually go from a planned maintenance or time-based maintenance to a condition-based maintenance strategy, where you're looking at the condition of the machinery, the system, holistically. Like, if you look at the system and say, that system has got 10 components, look at all of them together. So you take that and you put that into your strategy. But it costs money to do that. And the smaller companies need help from the government and from local authorities or whoever to get to that sustainability level. And I think that's one of the biggest hurdles, is the mindset of changing people's attitudes of, we've fixed 10 pumps, we've fixed 20 bearings, we've done this, we've saved money. No, all you've done is corrected faults that were there. You haven't actually increased your reliability, you haven't increased your sustainability to net zero or to reduce your carbon footprint or whatever. It's the mindset. And that's one of the biggest hurdles, I think, that the smaller companies have. The bigger companies have all the strategies in place, and they have people that look at the strategies and how it's implemented and how it affects their KPIs and everything else. Whereas the smaller companies don't have the manpower to be looking at all the data. And I think that's where the government needs to help, to say the smaller companies need even more help than the bigger ones. And that's one of the biggest hurdles.
There's been a few big challenges on the transition to net zero. For a long time it was the justification of why this is something we need to be doing. There's lots more media attention about it. A lot more people are aware of why it's important and why we need to do it, as well as how we do it. So I think there's been great progress on why it's an important subject. And what we've seen over the last couple of years is a bit of a switch flicked of, we know why we need to do this, but we now need to figure out how we do it.
Some of the hurdles we're seeing within the construction world as to how we actually become more sustainable starts with actually the design. We have to change the way we approach a building, and that often means looking at it very differently. No longer do we look at buildings to be demolished, we're looking at how we can retain them and adapt them. And not just the adaptation in the initial use, but how we can ensure we create a building that can be adapted during its lifetime, so the interventions within it are actually minimal. Other hurdles we're seeing in the industry is we're talking a lot to our manufacturers and suppliers who have traditionally been set up to deal with raw products that come out of the ground perhaps. And we're asking them now to take existing components and adapt them within their factory environments. And we're seeing some really positive responses from companies that are reacting to that and actually changing the way manufacturing facilities, just from what they see as a growth market and a real potential.
The main challenges to the UK becoming more sustainable is there's a knowledge gap on some occasions with businesses and business priorities. And regulation can have a significant impact as well on whether businesses invest in sustainable solutions.
How do I see Seam Services developing? Seam Services started off as a condition monitoring company. It's taken a big leap to develop the maintenance and balance software, the AI software. Going forward, that's where we will be focusing on. We will still be providing services, vibration, oil, whatever services is required. But the AI side of the business will be growing. For example, we are talking to different shipping companies and they've got 20, 30, 40 ships in their fleet. And one of them have got 60 ships in their fleet. So the AI capability to look at all that data from 60 ships or 20 ships at a time on a daily basis, on an hourly basis, if needed. That is where the AI and Seam Services is going. The maintenance and balance software will basically be growing and looking at that planned maintenance, making sure that those ships and shore-based or power plants, whatever, can run as long as possible at an optimal performance until they need maintenance, and predict forward on that maintenance to when that's going to be.
There's still lots of hurdles to overcome. You know, we're not close to 100% circularity today. There's a lot more we need to be doing. Challenges such as cost. How do we provide solutions that don't cost more money in a world where commercial performance is still really important? There is still a requirement for manufacturers to produce materials with higher recycled content. So there's still that requirement for people to be investing in newer products and solutions that help us deliver that. We work a lot with a supply chain, so we know we can't do this ourselves. So there's a lot we're doing to both steer, advise and support our supply chain for them to bring to market a low carbon product or service that they provide as well. And then there's also policies and legislation. So within the industry, there's been a really good drive and progress amongst companies, you know, designers, contractors, engineers, developers, to get towards more sustainable outcomes and get towards net zero. Really good progress has been made. But what we're finding now is that there's kind of support needed and guidance required that governments can step in to do. Now, how do we provide, or how do they provide consistent policies, which then says, go and invest in these new solutions, go and invest in innovative products and solutions, because we know there's a market that will buy this product up in the future. So how can they use policies to give very clear signals to the market that this is something that's not going away, there's support for you, and actually if you do go and invest and change your businesses or evolve your businesses to be more sustainable, then you'll succeed and there'll be benefits for you in the long term. So it's a combination of what can the companies be doing themselves, how do they come together as an industry, because we can't do this as individual businesses, and then how do our governments also help us on that journey as well, where we can't do it all ourselves as businesses.
Transitioning to a net zero economy poses challenges, but with strategic investment in innovation, collaborative efforts among businesses, and supportive regulatory frameworks, UK companies will be well positioned to lead the global charge towards a greener future.